Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Erica, and and I should probably just restart, but we're awkward and messy here, so I'm probably not going to, even though I literally just choked on my own saliva. Don't we all do that? Um, Anyways, welcome to my channel where we are learning about God, and we are currently reading through Esther. Occasionally we have some travel stuff, and we also occasionally have some life stuff, and that's really it. Am I getting better at this? Please comment below if you think I'm getting better at this. Please tell me I'm not getting worse at it. We do a weekly Bible lesson. I release it on Thursdays. Please hit subscribe and like, and you can check out my my Instagram. I put up some verse of the days. Probably not every day because I'm not that good. But so today we are doing chapter 7 of Esther. Probably should have done 6 and 7 together because they're both little dudes. I probably shouldn't call a chapter of the Bible a little dude. They're both short. Chapter 7 is only 10 verses, so probably we'll just be like, oh, it's just a little bit of her today. All right, coffee. So I don't choke on my saliva while I'm trying to read. All right. And this isn't really a silly verse, it's more, or chapter, it's more of a serious chapter, so. All right, Haman impaled. So the king and Haman went to Queen Esther's banquet, and they were drinking wine on the second day. The king again asked, Queen Esther, what is your petition? It will be given to you. What is your request? Even up to half the kingdom, it will be granted. Then Queen Esther answered, If I have found favor with you, your majesty, and it pleases you, grant me my life. This is my petition. And spare my people. This is my request. For I and my people have been sold to be destroyed, killed, and annihilated. If we had merely been sold as male and female slaves, I would have kept quiet, because no such distress would justify disturbing the king. King Xerxes asked Queen Esther, Who is he? Where is he, the man who has dared to do such a thing? Esther said, An adversary, an enemy, this vile Haman. Then Haman was terrified before the king and queen. The king got up in a rage, left his wine, and went out into the palace garden. But Haman, realizing that the king had already decided his fate, stayed behind to beg Queen Esther for his life. Just as the king returned from the palace garden to the banquet hall, Haman was falling on the couch where Esther was reclining. The king explained, Will he even molest the queen while she is with me in the house? As soon as the word left the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face. Then Harbona, one of the eunuchs attending the king, said, A pole reaching a height of 50 cubits stands by Haman's house. He had it set up for Mordecai, who spoke up to help the king. The king said, Impale him on it. So they impaled Haman on the pole he had set up for Mordecai. Then the king's fury subsided. So that's chapter 7. A little more serious chapter there. A lot of little topics to notate on there for me personally. I know we said this really wasn't going to be a study. It was going to be more of just reading. Persians tended to make decisions after drinking. That was like one of the Persian things. If you look up like Persian culture, and then they tended to like go back and review after they were sober. So it wasn't abnormal for them to make decisions. Like, wow, they were, at least per everything I have ever read about Persian culture, in the little bit of like research that I have done, because I'm not a Persian expert, but that's per. I actually have this little notebook beside me randomly, but per like every bit of research that I've seen personally. But it just seems like everything that Haman has tried to do has come right back around and just bit him in the tuchus. And Esther, a few chapters back in chapter 4, Mordecai had said to her, just because you're in the palace, you're not going to escape. She's a Jewish queen in a Persian kingdom under a Persian king. And she flat out states, like, me, my people, like, this is going to happen to us. Like, we need help. And I would have kept quiet if it was just going to be something truly uncomfortable and kind of awful. Not awful, like, but awful, like, I don't want to do that. But she's like, this is something that's unforgivably, terrifyingly horrible. I need to say something. So she does. And Xerxes, per the history that I have learned, also was known to be a little bit of a hothead. So, he stepped out. He was angry. He was calmed down a little bit, but he came back, and Haman kind of like sparked a little bit more of the anger. So, and it's kind of also ironic that the thing that Haman was intending as bad for someone he didn't like ended up being what happened to him. So it's kind of like this entire chapter just ties a lot of things together. All right, so that's me babbling at you today. I guess if you keep watching me, you've just decided you like my babble. All right, I will see you next Thursday. You have a good week, and we'll move on to chapter 8, because I don't know if you guys know anything about Persian law, but let me tell you, we have some issues. This chapter, or this book's not wrapped up yet. So Persian law was like set in stone. A lot of the ancient cultures and things saw their kings as deities. So once a law went into effect, it was set in stone, because it, like a god, a deity, cannot change their mind, right? Like, thank God that we have a forgiving, loving, fatherly God, because our God forgives. But the Persians viewed their king, their ruler, as like a god, and once he created a rule, it was final. There was no like, oh hey, we're gonna readjust that traffic limit. It was set in stone forever. That law that all the Jews were going to be annihilated on that day, it was set in stone. So they have a huge problem, even though the king now is like, oh no, Haman was horrible and he was trying to deceive me and kill my wife and every single one of the Jewish people. That's still a law. So they have a problem. All right, so we need to finish reading Esther, and we're going to have 2 more episodes. We're going to do chapter 8, and then we're going to do 9 and 10 together, because chapter 10 is only, it's like this big. It's teeny tiny. It's like 3 or 4 verses long. I think it's only 3 verses long. So we got 2 more episodes of Esther. We got to find out what happens. All right. See you next Thursday.